Propaganda is information that is used primarily to influence an audience and further an agenda, which presents facts selectively and even includes misinformation and outright lies in an effort to encourage a particular synthesis or perception, or using loaded language to produce an emotional rather than a rational response to the information that is presented. Propaganda is often associated with material prepared by government and the media.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
You're hired to put a smile on your face, lie, and read a teleprompter.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Propaganda is used to manipulate the population. This is exactly how the world ended up on lockdown, by the dissemination of information and selective facts about coronavirus to cause panic, which led to a pandemic and pandemonium or chaos. It should be noted that pandemonium is the capital of hell in John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost. In several different occasions during press conferences held on the coronavirus, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo mentioned the apex.
And the main battle is at the apex. We're still going up the mountain. The main battle is on the top of the mountain. That's where the main battle is going to be, the apex of the curve.
On March 25th, 2020, Andrew Cuomo said that New York would reach the apex in 21 days. The apex is the top of the pyramid, which is also known as the capstone. On the seal of the dollar bill, the apex or capstone is the symbol of the all-seeing eye. Notice how the pyramid is a three-dimensional object as it represents the reality of this world. However, the apex or capstone is a two-dimensional object with an eye peering in from another dimension. This represents a rift in the fabric of reality and a doorway to a parallel universe. Peering through that doorway is the eye of Lucifer, the devil, and fallen angel. The pyramid represents a model of top-down control, where the top predator controls the structure or population dynamics of the ecosystem. This points us to what is called the apex predator.
It is called the apex predator, right? And basically what this is the strongest animal in the ecosystem. The lion does not feel guilty when it kills its young.
1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 tells us, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." Clearly, this passage identifies the devil as the apex predator, looking to devour whoever he can. Now remember, I told you that Andrew Cuomo said New York would reach the apex in 21 days on March 25th. Well, from and including Wednesday, March 25th, 2020, to and including Tuesday, April 14th, 2020, is 21 days. And on April 14th, 2020, Barack Obama returned to the world stage by endorsing Joe Biden for president.
Hi, everybody. Let me start by saying the obvious. These aren't normal times. As we all manage our way through a pandemic unlike anything we've seen in a century, Michelle and I hope that you and your families are safe and well.
This marked the re-emergence of the apex predator, the all-seeing eye that sits atop of the pyramid, Lucifer, the devil. On April 18th, 2020, at 11:09 a.m., the New York Post ran an article about the Obamas getting 8 more years in the White House. The article goes on to postulate that Michelle Obama is even more popular than her husband Barack, and if Biden chooses her as his vice presidential running mate, the Obamas will effectively be back in the White House for another 8 years. In the previous video, we discussed the tweet by Doug Landry, which depicted Barack Obama as Superman, with the caption, "It is time. Release the super surrogate." We know Superman is a symbolic representation of a false god, and that Obama has presented himself as Superman as well.
Contrary to the rumors that you've heard, I was not born in a manger. I was actually born on Krypton and sent here by my father, Jor-El, to save the planet Earth.
I also showed you how the timestamp and date of this tweet, 12/14, which equals 44, a reference to Obama, the 44th president, and April 8th, or 4/8, when reversed, equals 8/4, a reference to Obama's birthday, and ultimately the Antichrist code 4484, which we saw.
When he reverses it, that's how the occult works. They reverse things, do things backward. Backmasking, it's doing things backwards. That's how they work. So it's not just, oh, I decided to do that. He's decoding it.
Exhibited in the background of a picture of Dallas sniper Micah Xavier Johnson. Once again, if you do not believe that numerology is an integral part of the magic practitioners of Satanism and witchcraft perform, here is another example. When we look at the date and timestamp of this article, we can see the truth of what is actually being presented. The date, April 18th, 2020, gives us the number 44 and 666. April is the 4th month, and 20 plus 20 equals 40, thus 44. The number 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 666. The time, 11:09 a.m., is significant in 2 ways. Genesis chapter 11 speaks about the time when the world was under the government of King Nimrod, and the Tower of Babel was built in defiance of Yah. It should be noted that King Nimrod was said to be a mighty one in the earth and a mighty hunter before the Lord. Well, that would make King Nimrod an apex predator. Interestingly enough, the horned god Pan is the god of the hunt, and recently, the media has been propagating the theme of the hunt. 2020 saw the release of the movie called The Hunt.
Did you see that article? Every year, these liberal elites kidnap a bunch of normal folks like us and hunt us for sport.
Jadakiss, who released the album Ignatius, which means the fiery one, a reference to Satan, contains a song called Hunting Season.
When I think all these rappers is hunting season.
Genesis 11:9 is when God stopped Nimrod, the mighty hunter, from building the one-world Tower of Babel by confounding the language. Verse 9 declares, "Therefore, is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. When the number 11:9 is reversed, it gives us the number 911, which is a reference to Revelation chapter 9, verse 11, the rise of the king of the bottomless pit. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. We also know that on 9/11 the Twin Towers were destroyed, and the One World Tower was built in its place. This is nothing more than the reversal of Genesis 11:9 and the rebuilding of the One World Tower of Babel. The crowning beam of the One World Tower was signed by none other than Barack Obama. Notice Governor Cuomo, who said in 21 days the apex would arrive, is standing next to Obama at the apex of the One World Tower. We remember, we rebuild, we come back stronger. This statement was meant to be a statement made in defiance of God. Obama also went on to declare that he would be worshipped as God at the very same spot where the One World Tower of Babel was built.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
Therefore, we are being told that Obama, who is the 44th president, is the Antichrist, 666, the king of the bottomless pit, found in Revelation 9:11, who will rebuild the one world government, a reversal of Genesis 11:9, and at its apex as the apex predator. Before I go, I just want to share one more thing with you. In the movie The Minority Report, there's a scene where Tom Cruise stops a murder before it happens. What you must pay close attention to in this clip is the date and time mentioned, as well as the name of the victims.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks and Donald Dubin that was take place today, April 22nd. It's 0800 hours, 4 minutes.
April 22nd, it's 0800 hours, 4 minutes.
The date mentioned is April 22nd, which gives us the number 44, since April is the 4th month, and 2 plus 2 equals 4, thus 44. The time mentioned is 0800 hours and 4 minutes, or 84, a reference to Obama's birthday in the Antichrist code 4484. Also, pay attention to what happens while the suspect is being arrested. They place a halo on his head.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks and Donald Dubin that was take place today, April 22nd. It's 0800 hours, 4 minutes.
No, I didn't do anything. Sarah!
Give the man his hand.
Oh, God. Don't put that halo on me!
The halo is a corona or crown, and is a reference to the crowning of the Antichrist and the coronavirus. The name of the suspect's wife and would-be victim is Sarah Marks.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks and Donald Dubin that was take place today.
Sarah means princess and is the feminine form of Sar, which means prince, from Sarar, meaning he ruled. Marks means a trace, impression, or sign. This is a reference to the mark of the beast, 666. Donald Dubin is the name of the other would-be victim. Donald means ruler of the world, or world ruler. Dubin means oak, and in Greek mythology, the oak is the tree which is sacred to Zeus, the king of the gods, who is associated with thunder and lightning. Barak means lightning, and you will remember that Obama gave his acceptance speech at Mile High Stadium from a stage set up as a replica of the temple of Zeus. Dubin is also a French form of the name Robert. Robert means to shine bright with fame and glory. Therefore, the message here is as follows. Number 44, who was born on 8/4, shall be given a crown, and as a prince he shall rule through the sign of his mark, as the ruler of the world and king of the gods. He is Barak, the god of lightning, and he shall shine bright with fame and glory. I don't know how many times I can say it, but you just can't make this stuff up. That being said, the time for the rise of the Antichrist is at hand. If you have not surrendered your life to the Most High by accepting the blood sacrifice of the Paschal Lamb, Yehoshua HaMashiach, the time to do so is now. We are bearing witness to the beginning of the end, and it's time to choose sides.
The main battle is on the top of the mountain. That's where the main battle is going to be. The apex of the curve.
Amen. Shalom.
Contrary to the rumors that you've heard, I was not born in a manger. Contrary to the rumors that you've heard, I was not born in a manger. I was actually born on Krypton and sent here by my father, Jor-El, to save the planet Earth. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. 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 Exalted in the earth.